You are listening to the Photographic Podcast. Your hosts are Jay, Justin, Mike, and Valentine. And welcome back.
What's up? What's up?
So, Jalissa, what the fuck? Yeah? Okay. Sure. Uh-huh. Lesbian camera sisters. All right, I like it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What?
I don't know anymore.
I was saying 1, 1, 0. 1 plus 0 is 1. That's what I was saying.
Oh, okay. All right. You're right. You're right. Pay no attention to our math skills. That's why we're photographers.
Isn't like most of what we do math?
No.
Not me.
One stop. Move over this one stop. Minus, push, pull, drag.
Hey, that is the bare minimum 1 plus 2 plus 0, whatever.
Yeah, but we got this motherfucker over here going 1 plus 0 is 0.
Look, I'm gonna be honest with you real quick. For the longest, I was like, "What the fuck is a stop?" I mean, I didn't know like what it actually was. Like, if I was at 100th of a second, what's a stop up or down from that? I didn't really know what the fuck that was. I know how to shoot and everything, but when it came to like, it's almost like a motherfucker who can't read music but can play a goddamn song.
I feel that.
That's me. I still get kind of confused by stops. Not gonna lie.
Confusing. I'm like, what the hell is a stop? And once a film did it, I think really helped out a lot with that. So now
Film helps out.
Yeah. I could don't make me explain to you what a stop is because I don't think I can. I get like the concept of it. It's I mean, obviously like exposure values and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't, but I get the concept of it. I'm pretty comfortable with because it's a ratio and a balance, and so I'm okay because using the exposure triangle that we talked about before. But
Sure.
I'm comfortable with like thinking about that. But I have to agree that shooting film has kind of helped.
Yeah.
Deal with that a little bit because you have a little bit more set values that you're trying to navigate around. So you have less movement of one thing and making up some of those values in other areas.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think that's part of the reason why, like, I mean, because you can't see your photo and you're paying for everything, that's why film is so educational. Put it that way. Like it teaches you, it forces you to learn so much because you're paying for every single photo that you take. With digital, you don't have to learn anything. You just have to push buttons or turn a dial until it looks right. But with film, you don't know, and you got to wait and find out. So it kind of forces you to make better choices immediately so that you get better returns.
Yeah, definitely. I was actually going to say something similar to that earlier, but in favor of digital, because we had mentioned in previous conversations about using the exposure triangle and things like that. But I was going to say earlier, like you can take all the photos at no expense, really, past what you're already invested into it doing digital, and so there's really no excuse to take all the photos and learn how to troubleshoot them.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about doing the critiques and posting those things up in those Facebook groups, and like that's how I build the confidence to be able to feel comfortable with other people critiquing my work, is because I'll go out, and because I'm shooting digital, I can shoot 1,000 images if I feel like, and then I can go through them and try to figure out what feels right, what doesn't feel right. Take whatever information that I've gleaned from all of my research and try to apply it to the photo and do it that way. So I like digital, and whenever I was beginning, I'm glad that I had digital with me, but I also wish that I had started at the same time with film. Like it would be, I wonder where I would be at now if I had started somewhere within the first 6 months of each other shooting both digital and film.
Yeah, for
Right.
sure. I
Agreed.
think having a DSLR too is like a big ass. It's like film DSLR, mirrorless. DSLRs help a lot because I mean you're going off that meter. It's not so much like right there in front of you like a phone's. Mirrorless is like basically kind of like how a phone is these fucking days. So if you're starting off with mirrorless, you're like missing a lot of what's going on. I guess you could say. In
But
photography.
like the tactile response to things. What is it? What is it that you're losing? I guess because your viewfinder is different. What else? What else would be like a major difference between the DSLR and a mirrorless that you feel like that you're missing out on?
There's just learning, I guess you could say, because again, like you got your OVF and you're just looking through the deal and you're like, okay, I gotta line this up so that the meter is showing correctly. I mean, you still have a meter in mirrorless, but also you're just looking at the damn
At what your photo's going to look like.
at what it's gonna look like. You can already tell, like on the screen, like it goes bright or dark depending on whatever the hell you set. You see it right there in front of you, so you're like, okay, that's good. Versus, I know I'm sure there's times where with your DSLR you've maybe had some old settings in there or something. You took a picture and you look down, you're like, oh, it's fucking bright because your OVF doesn't show you that.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Oh, and
yeah.
Justin knows, especially having lenses that transition in the sunlight, the darker. Like if you're not paying attention to those meters and stuff along the way, like it can.
Yep. That's
That
why I
will be
got
the
rid
thing.
of those lenses. Because I remember going out to shoot with y'all in like early 2020 or maybe 2019, going out and shooting in broad daylight, and all my photos when I came back were underexposed by like 2 or 3 stops. They were fucking dark. And I was like, what's going on? Well, my lenses had transitioned and I wasn't looking at the meters, so I adjusted to the exposure level on through
Man.
my lenses, not through
Right.
the meter. Sorry, they were overexposed, not underexposed. They were super bright, not super dark.
Right.
But yeah, all my photos, every single one of them were unusable because they were beyond repairing. So look at those meters. Look at them.
Damn,
Yeah,
I
seriously.
figured they'd be the opposite. I figured they'd be like overexposed because you would think, man, that's kind of dark. So you would go up some, and in reality, you really
There were
didn't need
times
to.
there were times when I'm like, man, it's so dark outside. Why is this so dark? And then I'd take my camera down from my face and it would look fine. I'm like, that's weird. Put my camera back up. Oh man, it's still super dark. What's going on? Yeah.
But
Yeah, I
I was
definitely.
shooting fucking shades.
Yeah. See, I did.
Well-
I definitely had issues in the beginning with it, but I was having the same problem that you were, Justin, where I would take the shots and then I would look at the image after I took the shot. I'd be like, what is happening? Because whenever I first started shooting, I had regular lenses that didn't transition. And so it wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
And then I get out and I get these new lenses and I put them in and I'm like, why is this coming out like that? And it took me a minute to realize, like, oh, I'm basically wearing sunglasses right now.
Yeah,
Damn.
pretty much.
What was I gonna say?
Something about Val wearing sunglasses.
Oh, now with this camera, the viewfinder. You know how most viewfinders on cameras are like smack dab in the middle of the camera. This one's like on this side. So if I ever, whenever I do upgrade, because I don't think there's any camera that has the fucking viewfinder like off to the side like this one does. So I don't know how that's
Rangefinders.
Oh, rangefinder, okay. It helps a lot with people with glasses though, because you're doing it, and when you're doing it, it's basically here, and you got all your face is open here, so you can breathe and not have to worry about your glasses getting all fogged up and all that shit. But when you're here with it, and your nose is touching it, and you're breathing on the fucking the screen and shit, so I'm gonna miss that whenever I switch over to something else. But
I won't miss breathing on the screen. I get tired of that crap.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'll miss not breathing. My face being open,
Oh yeah,
wide
see.
open. Because when I put my camera up to my face, it's basically on this side of my face.
Yeah, I
It's
kind of
not
wish
in the
that.
middle.
I wish that was a thing.
So,
Well, you can always buy Leica cameras, and
oh,
they're
like
all rangefinders.
Jesus. It's
Right.
basically when I shoot, it's like this, and all this is
Yeah.
open instead of like.
Oh,
don't
that would be so weird. I don't know.
It is weird,
know
but
if
I
I'm
don't know
comfortable
that I
with
hate
that.
it.
I got used to it, and it helps a lot with glasses.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking,
guess
there's so many times that I've been out there shooting that I breathe and my hot ass breath fucking condensation on my damn screen on the back, and you're trying to look at it and I'm having to wipe it away, and it's like now it's all streaky and fingerprints, and it is kind of annoying.
I don't have any of those problems with my EOS R.
Oh, there you go. So
Just
who
saying.
cares? So
Yeah.
Or maybe you just don't have hot ass humid breath like I do.
Oh, I do. Look at this giant monster that I have on the front of my face. I
Oh, I
promise
do.
you that. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
he was
it's rubbing it all over the back of that camera, but no, it doesn't fog up or anything. It's fine.
that
That's
fancy
hilarious.
ass glass, probably like Gorilla Glass or something on the
Anti-fog.
phone.
We have anti-fog in the EOS R.
Maybe. I don't know. It is
doubt
waterproof. I mean, not waterproof. It's water resistant.
Like most things, they will never say waterproof.
Yeah.
They
Which-
don't want to be liable for that.
One of these days, when this podcast makes us rich, I'm gonna buy a camera and I'm gonna waterproof it. I'm just gonna get a hot glue gun and I'm just gonna make it waterproof.
Hot glue gun. Just to do it like your fucking Casey Neistat with all those fucking cameras that are all fucked
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. just to say that I finally have a camera that it's not just weather resistant, it's weatherproof. And I'm going to go out in the rain on a rainy day without an umbrella, and I'm finally going to take the photos that I wanted to take this whole time.
Man, if I could just get enough money to where I could get on YouTube and create a channel where I'm just fucking up a whole bunch of expensive ass camera gear, then I can make all the money back, because everyone, like people like yourselves, are gonna be like sitting there watching it like this. I'm like fucking up this $3,000 G Master lens, and I'm over here like fucking smashing it and shit, and people are watching it like
Scratch some lens with a quarter and be like, "Oh, this is what it looks like with front element damage. This is what the photos are going to look like."
yeah, and then you can add to it by going out and still shooting with it. And people want to see that sounds like that'd be a successful
I
channel.
broke off the flip pad for this camera, and everything's just kind of random. Let's see what these photos come out to be.
I'm going today on fuck. It's gonna be all Canon lenses today on fuck Canon. We're gonna be destroying an L glass lens, and we're gonna go out and shoot with it. Today we are in Peru, and we're gonna go out and we're going.
I didn't like this weird giant front element, so I pried it off with a screwdriver. Here's what the photos look like.
You know what? I think it's a little hot. Let's go ahead and go out here to the on the beach out here in Peru, and then all in the ocean water. All right, let's go shoot with it now and see what happens.
And that's another level right there.
Man, I'm telling you, that'd be a
Lens torture
successful
to the
channel.
max.
There you go.
Well,
Yeah.
Jalissa, you found your niche. Have at it.
Let me know
I
how
will
that
help
goes.
you. Yeah, tell me how that goes.
I need a loan first. If I could just get a loan
I'll give you
for
the
a few
field lens
lenses,
that I got over here, and we can start with that.
pretend like it's an expensive ass lens. Like, I'm destroying this $5,000, $20 lens that I got off.
Right?
We'll go to Pete's Antiques and just buy all those lenses and try them out.
Man, I think Mike isn't really gun ho about going back there again. He couldn't really find what he wanted.
I buy lenses up there. It just seemed like some of the bodies he was trying to sell for not necessarily unreasonable prices. I don't want to say that because not all of them were unreasonable to me. It's just, when some things are unverified and gone through and all of that, it just kind of makes me want to kind of question the quality of it. But I don't have any basis to say that anything's bad, so I don't want to say that. But
Sure.
but the other times that I've gone up there looking for specific stuff, he didn't really have what I was looking for. So, and it's a long drive. Mostly,
Man,
is the deal. It's an hour away. If he were closer, I would probably frequent the establishment more. But
We'll
I
have to
don't
find
want to
someplace
drive
closer to you.
yeah, I don't want to drive an hour and 10 minutes.
how the fuck are the antique stores any damn way? I just would like to find like a fucking
Well,
cheap ass fucking film camera like Volandis did. Like, oh, I picked up this.
you watched that Grainy Days where he bought everything for $5?
See, that sounds fun.
He didn't. That was a joke. But watch. It's a running gag through the video. I'm sorry, I just ruined it, but it's still worth.
Spoiler alert.
It's still worth
Jesus.
watching. And if you didn't catch on to the second $5 purchase, that's on you.
He's funny.
So, speaking of funny things and funny people, what do y'all think about when people go into the comments of your photo that they're critiquing? We were talking about this last episode, and edit that fucking photo and then post it again without your permission.
This is what you should have did, motherfucker.
Not cool.
Basically, is what they're doing.
I mean, so here's the thing: if we're having a discussion about edits and they do that, like here's what you should have done, fuck them. Rephrase that to here's what I think it would look better as, but or can you post the raws and can I show you a couple edits? That'd be one way to do it, but to just take it and fucking do what you want with it, nah, son.
Yeah.
At the very least, ask. I actually don't have an issue if you want to do that, but please ask. Don't take something that belongs to somebody else and then alter it. I think that's kind of shiesty.
Right.
Man, that's in my damn contract for whenever I give out my photos, whenever I do like a session or something. It says in the contract, it should not or cannot be altered by anyone but the fucking photographer, because that shit is. That's another reason why you don't give out unedited photos too, so that people don't be trying to fucking edit your shit or they giving it out and like, oh look, blah 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 took this picture. Like, yeah, I took it, but you butchered it, so I don't really want credit for it at this point.
Right.
We were talking about that earlier, and I would mention that there was a guy who I'd had like an offline, like in the private message conversation, based on some of the critiques, because he didn't want to cause a big scene about some of the stuff that he was going to talk about. It was kind of specific. And he had actually sent me a message first and asked if he could do a color correction on one of the images, and did it in private message so that we wouldn't be posting our opinions about what is right and what is wrong on a message thread.
Right.
Because I think that just as much as it's kind of offensive to me that somebody would do that without asking, it also kind of, like you said, like you're saying that this is the way you should have done something, not this is how you would have done something if it was your image.
Yeah.
And now you're trying to convince all the other people that maybe were curious and trying to learn from the post that you made to critique that. Now you're ruining everybody else in the process.
That's the problem to me. It's like when, like you said, he came to you in private and was like, hey man, blah 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 blah. That's more, hey, I respect you for doing that, because if not, you just, to me, if you're showing your ass in the comments, I feel like you're just trying to embarrass somebody and be like, oh look, this motherfucker doesn't know what he's doing, let's you're doing it all wrong, right, everybody, he's doing it all wrong. It just feels like a crowd, like someone just trying to make people be on their side and not really in your best interest, just more of like just trying to embarrass you.
Yeah, just trying to get clout for having the right opinion.
Right.
Wanting to be.
But I've only had my images messed with in that way like 3 different times, so not a lot. One was in private. One, somebody was very respectful still, and posted it in a response in the chat in the group.
That's
but
good.
he at least asked me first. And then I think the other one, they didn't ask, but the way that they approached it was kind of made me feel like that it was okay. Like it didn't feel uncomfortable. They were like, "Hey, maybe try something like this," and they never said you should do this. You have to do this. This is the only right way. They didn't come across that way. Not even in attitude. No. So like, even though they didn't really ask me if they could, when they did it, they presented it to me in a "I'm not telling you what to do" kind of fashion. Yeah. So I was cool. But those are the only 3 instances that I've dealt with it. But I know that other people have had way more negative interactions with folks.
I've had that happen a couple times in a group that we used to be a part of. I'd post an image and then somebody would copy it and then just re-edit it. Like, and then just post it in the comments with nothing else. Like, they wouldn't say anything else. It just, here you go. Here's my version of it. Like,
who asked?
Okay.
Who asked you?
Yeah. Who asked you? Because I sure as fuck didn't. Like, that's a cool black and white version of the color photo I just posted. But like, if I wanted it in black and white, trust me, I have the software. I know how to make it black and white. I didn't want it that way.
Yeah, it's not that hard to fuck.
Nah, that shit's not cool at all.
Now take one of my black and white photos and make it color. Then I'll be impressed.
Right. Then you need to be teaching a master class.
At that point,
yeah,
for
yeah.
real.
Teach me how to recolorize photos. I mean, I know how to do it, but I don't want to.
So how do y'all feel about rules in photography as far as like rule of thirds and all that crap? Like, hey, try not to be in the center all the time. And
so in the beginning, I think like any artist, those things are important to learn and then learn how to break them. Because that's what... Well, I mean, that's the thing is like, if you know all the rules and you know how to break them to make a good photo, then by all means. But if you don't know what you're doing and you just post everything in the thirds, or you put it, you do weird things with dynamic symmetry and all that stuff, like it's not going to make sense. But if you understand the rules and you bend them to your will in an appropriate manner, sure. Yeah. Break them, bend them, play with them, shatter them, and then reorganize them into something else. But like, just got to learn them first.
Yeah, I mean, you see people take cricket pictures on purpose sometimes, and it's just like a thing. Like that could be your thing. Like the person who takes cricket pictures. I mean, you don't have to be so technical. I mean, in the end, it's like they say, it's what you make it and what you want it to be. Not so much of, hey, that's a crooked picture. That's not right. That's not how it's supposed to be. You need to fix that. And it's like, well, maybe that's how I want it to be. So fuck you.
Right.
Yeah, I think
the only day it's your photo.
Right. Yeah, right. Well, I think the only thing that would bother me and has bothered me about that exact type of criticism is that I agree that is something that you need to take into consideration, but whenever you post photos to be critiqued, especially in groups where that is one of the purposes is to be critiqued for your work, they shouldn't just go ahead and assume you don't know anything.
Yeah.
And maybe focus on the images that I posted and then not try to teach me fundamentals of photography.
Yeah. Yes, I know it's overexposed. I did that for a reason.
Yeah, like
right. I posted this to say, what do you think? And it's okay if you think it's overexposed. That's all right. You can say that, but don't say you need to learn the exposure triangle.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, say it's overexposed. Say you think, well, if you would have exposed it one stop lower, it would have probably been cleaner because of this. Fine with that. Perfectly fine with that. But to be like, well, I think you need to go back and watch some videos on exposure. Don't say that shit to me. Now I'm mad. Yeah. I wasn't
it's
mad.
It's a little grainy.
Now I'm mad.
It's a little grainy. Your ISO is a little high, ain't it? Maybe maybe that's how I wanted it to be. How do you know that I don't know anything about ISO?
Right. But like
that's
I said,
because it's film. It's supposed to be
It's
grainy.
film.
It's fine if they think that, and I'm okay with them saying so. But to redirect me to improve my education is just insulting.
Some people, that's what they want to do. They want to insult you. They want to, what do they call
Those
it?
are trolls.
Ruffle your feathers.
Don't feed the trolls.
Ruffle
Don't
my
feed the
feathers.
trolls.
Don't feed the trolls.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Or,
But,
I mean,
same
if you
place
want to
where-
be a troll, feed them false things.
Right. Well, that's how you troll properly.
Hey, in the film group, did you see that photo? Someone posted, it was like, it looked like a studio photo, and they're like, this was shot on my Mamiya RZ67 Kodak, whatever. And then everybody was like, hey, April's Fools was 2 days ago, man. There's not even any grain in this photo. And it was like serious. I don't know if he was joking or what. And I was looking at it, I was like, this looks like it was taken with like some studio lighting and a goddamn EOS R or some shit. Like, are you joking?
Right. Yeah, I think that was the same one. They were talking like, well, it looks like you probably could have framed that a little bit lower because there's way too much headroom. And he's like, oh, yeah, I took some other shots, and I think you're right. I probably should have done that. I think it was that same post. It was the only one that I saw in the last day or so that was like an RZ67.
Yeah.
I actually like headroom in my photos. If it's like a nice sky, that's a rule I like to break too. Like upper body or whatever, and like just a lot of sky, just showing like the openness, I guess. And it's like someone being free, like in the clouds or some shit. I don't know, but I like taking photos with a lot of sky sometimes.
Yeah,
I don't give
I'm
a fuck.
okay with that. I break rules constantly, and sometimes it's accidentally.
Yeah, it's like I know, I just don't care.
So I'm trying to figure out right now if Justin is frozen or if he's just holding that face.
He's not.
I'm
frozen.
not. So,
Oh, he is frozen.
oh.
I conveniently have you right here. That's awesome. Hey, I'm Justin, and it's me. And yeah, hey, what's up? How you doing?
Hey,
Good day.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
I haven't
So,
seen this version of you in seems like a few months.
Yeah, I seem very, very happy, don't I?
You do. It's almost
Well,
like
that's
you're
out of the norm,
on a
isn't it?
vacation.
Whenever he talks, I'm gonna go like this. Say something, Justin.
That's funny.
I guess he said, "Fuck you, Julie." So I'm not saying anything.
Right.
Got to get it real close. This is 16 millimeter.
And I'm back.
Hey, look at that. Well, I was just to finish that last thought was just to say that it does seem like when you do post those things, and I don't want to hang on it too much longer, but when you do post those things, the negativity is the first to come at its quickest. Like,
Yep.
So you can't so much ask a question before somebody's quick to tell you what's wrong.
Mm-hmm. You'd be like, damn, I
But-
forgot. Oh, shit, let me delete it. Before you delete it, someone's like, piece of shit. You're like, fuck. I didn't get to delete it fast enough.
Right. But I don't really mind the type of criticism, whether it's constructive or they're just trying to break it down too far. Like Justin had said before, it just depends on how you kind of take it. And for the most part, I think I could take it relatively well. But when they do kind of insult your intelligence, it is a little different. And that is the one thing that offends me the most. Like, you can tell me that my framing's off, and you can tell me that I need to learn how to do that, but maybe not in front of everybody.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, you trying to embarrass me? You trying to embarrass me or something, bro?
Well, because immediately I do feel
Yes.
embarrassed. I'm like, am I an idiot? Like, I might be an idiot. Like,
Especially
an
when
idiot.
everyone else gets in on it. You're like, fuck. Now it's like a crowd of people around me saying, you're fucking stupid. And you're like, I am, ain't I? I'm fucking stupid.
I must be. Everybody says so.
Everybody's agreeing with him.
Yeah. No matter what, fuck the haters. If they've got bad things to say about you or your photos, don't listen to them. unless they're being constructive. If they're approaching you in a kind and respectful manner, then yeah, by all means, let's listen to them. But if they have to be an asshole to get their point across, maybe they're not worth listening to.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As in the words of what Mike said earlier, do you, boo?
Do you,
Yeah.
boo?
Yep. But on that note, I think it's time for us to go. So we'll see y'all later. Peace.
Later.
Cue the price.